Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
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 Ram Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो मां जयमुदीरये बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय।
जय
बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय जय।
हरे कृष्णा रीना जी
Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Krishna भैया.
हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
Alright, तो हम लोग कल 19 अध्याय कंप्लीट करें और 19 अध्याय में हम लोग पढ़ रहे थे महाराज ययाति के बारे में, राइट? And from the life of Maharaj Yayati, what we learn is irrespective of highest level of material opulences and having everything in the universe, still he wasn't satisfied, right? And then ultimately he surrendered himself to Lord Sri Krishna and went back to Godhead, is what we were reading in the last adhyay. And then now we are reading about Maharaj Puru's dynasty, and Maharaj Pūru was the youngest son of Maharaj Yayati. And as you know, right, we started reading about the descendants of Somdev, right, the Chandradev, because earlier we were reading about Suryadev's descendants and then Chandradev descendants now. And in this dynasty, now what we are reading is Maharaj Puru's dynasty. And Maharaj Pūru himself was a big king. And then in the same dynasty, we had King Dushman. Yeah. So Dushyant, and as we know in the last shlok which we read, Sri Dushmant Vacha, King Dushmant replied, O Shakuntala, with beautiful eyebrows you have taken your birth in the family of the great saint Vishwamitra, and your reception is quite worthy of your family. Aside from this, the daughters of a king generally select their own husbands. Right? So as you know, like Dushant, King Dushant, he was in the forest and he reached to Rishikan's ashram. That's where he found Shakuntala. Yeah. And as you know, Shakuntala was daughter of Rishi Vishwamitra. So we'll continue to read what happens next from here. Ajay?
उमित्तिक्ते यथार्थ धर्ममुपये में शकुंतलाम गांधर्व विधिना राजा देश काल विधानिवत. When Shakuntala responded to Maharaja Dushyant's proposal with silence, the agreement was complete. Then the king, who knew the laws of marriage, immediately married her by chanting the Vedic pranava, Omkara, in accordance with the marriage ceremony as performed among the Gandharvas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is how Maharaj Dushyant and Shakuntala get married. Anilji?
मोह वीर्यों राजर्षि महिष्याम वीर मादधे स्वभूते सपुरम याता काले नासूत सासुतम King Dushmanta, who never discharged semen without a result, placed his semen at night in the womb of his queen, Shakuntala, and in the morning he returned to his palace. Thereafter, in due course of time, Shakuntala gave birth to a son. Hare Krishna.
Rinaji?
कण्वा कुमारस्य वने चक्रे समुचिता क्रिया बद्ध्वा मृगेन्द्रं तरसा क्रीडति स्म स बालकः. In the forest, Kanva Muni performed all the ritualistic ceremonies concerning the newborn child. Later, the boy became so powerful that he would capture a lion and play with it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tam duratya vikrantamaadaya brahmadota uttama haren shansh shambhutam bhartur antikamagamat. Shakuntala, the best of beautiful women, along with her son, whose strength was insurmountable and who was a partial expansion of the Supreme Godhead, approached her husband, Dushan. Says here, Hare Ansha. So her son, right, Shakuntala and Dushan's son, do you know who the son is?
Bharat.
Bharat Maharaj, right?
Bharat,
So the
right?
son of Dushan, King Dushan, and Shakuntala, Bharat Maharaj, right? So she takes him to the palace of King Dushan. Ajay?
यदा न जगृहे राजा भार्या पुत्रा वनिन्दितौ शृण्वतां सर्वभूतानां खे वागाः शरीरिणी. When the king refused to accept his wife and son, who were both irreproachable, an unembodied voice spoke from the sky as an omen and was heard by everyone present. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So initially, Maharaj Dushyant is not willing to accept, but then there is a Akashvani. Yeah. Anilji?
Maharaj Dushyant knew that Shakuntala and the boy were his own wife and son, but because they came from outside and were unknown to the citizens, he at first declined to accept them. Shakuntala, however, was so chaste that an omen from the sky declared the truth so that others could hear. When everyone heard from the omen that Shakuntala and her child were truly the king's wife and son, the king gladly accepted them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jinaji?
भस्त्रापितुः पुत्रो येन जातः स एव स भरस्वपुत्रं दुष्मन्त मावमंस्थां शकुन्तलाम्. The voice said, O Maharaj Dushyant, a son actually belongs to his father, whereas the mother is only a container, like the skin of a bellows. According to Vedic injunctions, the father is born as the son. Therefore, maintain your own son and do not insult Shakuntala. Hare Krishna.
Retodah putro neti naradeva yamakshayat tvam chasya dhata garbhasya satyamaha Shakuntala. O King Dushman, he who discharges semen is the actual father, and his son saves him from the custody of Yamraj. You are the actual procreator of this child. Indeed, Shakuntala is speaking the truth. Ajay?
पितुर्यपरेत सोऽपि चक्रवर्ती महायशः महिमा गीयते तस्य हरेश शंभो भुवि. Sukdev Goswami said, when Maharaj Dushmant passed away from this earth, his son became the emperor of the world, the proprietor of the 7 islands. He is referred to as a partial representation of Supreme Personality of Godhead in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Sukdev Goswami is saying, and whom is he talking to?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj, right? Sukdev Goswami is reciting this whole Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the katha about all the bhakts, to Parikshit Maharaj. And Sukdev Goswami is saying that his son, Dushyant Maharaj's son, became the emperor of the world, yeah, Chakravarti. And also saying that he's Hare Ansha Bhuva Bhuvi, right? He's referred to also as a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anilji?
Chakram Dakshinahasте Asya Padmakoshoस्य Padayoh Ije Mahavikshekena Sobhisikto Adhirait Vibhu Panch Panchashata Medherg Medhar Ganga Yamuno Vajivihi Mamateyam Purodhaya Yamunamanu Cha Prabhu Ashta Sapta तिमेध्याश्वान बबंध प्रदद वसु भरतस्य हि दौष्म अन्तेरग्निः साची गुणोचितः सहस्त्रं बद्धशो यस्मिन् ब्राह्मणा गा विभेजिरे. Maharaj Bharat, the son of Dushmanta, had the mark of Lord Krishna's disc on the palm of his right hand, and he had the mark of a lotus ball on the soles of his feet. By worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a grand ritualistic ceremony, he became the emperor and master of the entire world. Then, under the priesthood of Mamate Bhragumuni, he performed 55 horse sacrifices on the bank of the Ganges, beginning from its mouth and ending at its source, and 78 horse sacrifices on the bank of the Yamuna, beginning from the confluence at Prayag and ending at the source. He established the sacrificial fire on an excellent site, and he distributed great wealth to the Brahmanas. Indeed, he distributed so many cows that each of thousands of Brahmanas had one Badwa, 13,084 as his share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what is Bharat? Maharaj Bharat is being described and being mentioned here. The mark of Lord Krishna disc on the palm of his right hand. And here the mark of a lotus ball on the soles of his feet, right? Says here, Chakram Dakshin Haste Asya on the right hand. Yeah. He had the Chakram and Padma Kosho, Asya Padiyo, like on the feet. Yeah. He had the Padma Kosho, like the lotus, the mark of lotus wall on the soles of his feet. That's how Maharaj Bharat was. Rinaji?
Yastrishakshatam Yashwand Badhva Vismapayan Nripan Doshmantirratya Ganmayam Devanam Gurumayayo. Bharat, the son of Maharaj Dushyant, bound 3,300 horses for those sacrifices, and thus he astonished all other kings. He surpassed even the opulence of the demigods, for he achieved the supreme spiritual master, Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is mentioned here is one who achieves the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead certainly surpasses all material wealth, even that of the demigods in the heavenly planets. Yam labdava chaparam labham manyate nadikam tatar. The achievement of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the most exalted achievement in life. Megachukladata Krishnan Hiranyena Parivritan Adat Karmani Mashnare Niyutani Chaturdashe. When Maharaj Bharat performed the sacrifice known as Mashnara, or a sacrifice in the place known as Mashnara, he gave in charity 14 lakhs of excellent elephants with white tusks and black bodies completely covered with golden ornaments. Okay?
भरतस्य महत् कर्म न पूर्वे न परे नृपः नैव पुनर्नैव प्राप्स्यन्ति बाहुभ्यः त्रिदिवं यथा. As one cannot approach the heavenly planets simply by the strength of his arms, for who can touch the heavenly planets with his hands, one cannot imitate the wonderful picture activities of Maharaja Bharat. No one could perform such activities in the past, nor will anyone be able to do so in the future. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so those wonderful activity of Maharaj Bharat is described, being mentioned. No one could perform such activities either in the past or will be able to do in the future. It says, Mahat karma na purve, like not before, na upare nipa, like no other king, even afterwards, will be able to perform the activities which Maharaj Bharat was performing. Ayin Prabhu?
Kiratahurana, Yavanan, Pondran, Kangan, Khashachakan, Abrahanima, Ernapraschahan, Mlechan, Digvijaya, Khilan. When Maharaj Bharat was on tour, he defeated or killed all the Kiratas, Hunas, Yavans, Pondras, Kankas, Khasas, Sakas, and the kings who were opposed to the Vedic principles of Brahminical culture. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tarun.
Hare Krishna. जित्वा पुरासुरा देवान ये रसोकांसी भेजिरे देवस्त्रियो रसम नित्यम प्राणिभीम पुनराहरतः. Formerly, after conquering the demigods, all the demons had taken shelter in the lower planetary system known as Rasatala, and had brought all the wives and daughters of the demigods there also. Maharaj Bharata, however, rescued all those women, along with their associates, from the clutches of the demons, and he returned them to the demigods. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so we know the Rasatal, lower planetary system. And we know how many planets are there in this universe?
14.
14 planets, right? And we are on 7.
Yeah.
So below us, we have 6 planets, right? Or 7 planets below us, right? And one of that is Rasatal. I don't know if you remember the names. So we have Atal, Vital, Sutal, right? So Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, and then there is Rasatal. And then Mahatal, and what is the bottommost?
Patal.
Patal, right? So that's a Patal. So Tal, Vital, Atal, Sutal, Talatal, Rasatal, and then Patal. And similarly on top of us, what are the name of the planets? Above Earth?
Bhu, Purva, Swa.
Right. Yeah. So those 3 are easy to remember. So Bhu is the Earth. Then we have Bhuva and Swa, right? The Swarg. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. And then we have, what are the other loks? So we have Janlok, yeah, Taplok, and Brahmalok. And Brahmalok is also known as Satyalok. That's where Lord Brahmaji resides. Lord Brahma resides on the highest planet in this universe, which is the Brahmalok, right? So, but this is what is being described here is how powerful Maharaj Bharat was. Yeah, Arinaji.
सर्वान् कामान् दुदुहतुः प्रजानां तस्य रोदसी समास्त्रीर्णव सहस्त्रीर्दिक्षु चक्रमवर्तयत्. Maharaj Bharat provided all necessities for his subjects, both on this earth and in the heavenly planets, for 27,000 years. He circulated his orders and distributed his soldiers in all directions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So think about this, ruling 27,000 years. Yeah? It's like, can you imagine 27,000 years? But we know, like in different yugas, the expected age was different, right? Like 100 years now, 1,000 years, 10,000, and even 100,000 years in the Satyug. Hmm? And we say here, Sama is Tranva Sahastri Kshu. Tran like 3 times 7, 21,000. Sorry, 27,000 years. Yeah. Sesrank Lokpalakyam Eswarya Dhirat Sriyam Chakram Chas Khalitam Prananam Rishetu Pararam. As the ruler of the entire universe, Emperor Bharat had the opulences of a great kingdom and unconquerable soldiers. His sons and family had seemed to be his entire life, but finally he thought of all this as an impediment to spiritual advancement, and therefore he ceased from enjoying it. Right? So even King Bharat, at the end, he ceased to enjoy the all the sensual enjoyment and all the materialistic enjoyment he had, and he thought those are impediment to spiritual advancement, and then he ceased from enjoying it. Says here, Ajay.
Maharaja Bharat had incomparable opulence in sovereignty, soldiers, sons, daughters, and everything for material enjoyment. But when he realized that all such material opulences were useless for spiritual advancements, he retired from material enjoyment. The Vedic civilization enjoins that after a certain age, following in the footsteps of Maharaja Bharat, one should cease to enjoy material opulences and should take the order of Vanaprasth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anilji?
तस्यास्तनृपवैदर्भ्यः पल्यस्तिस्त्रः सुसम्मताः जघ्नुस्त्याग भयात पुत्रान् नानुरूपा हतीर्थे. O King Parikshit, Maharaj Bharat had 3 pleasing wives who were daughters of the king of Vidarbha. When all 3 of them bore children who did not resemble the king, these wives thought that he would consider them unfaithful queens and reject them, and therefore they killed their own sons. Hare Krishna.
Rinaji?
Taivam vitathe vanshe tadartha yajatah sutam marusto main maruto bharadwaj mupadadu. The king, his attempt of progeny frustrated in this way, performed a sacrifice named Marutustom to get a son. The demigods known as the Maruts, being fully satisfied with him, then presented him a son named Bharadwaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You can see it now, right?
Yes.
Tarun?
Chaudhamana Surerevam Matya Vitatham Atmajam Vyasarjan Maruto Biran Datoyam Vitathe Navya. Although encouraged by the demigods to maintain the child, Mamata considered him useless because of his illicit birth, and therefore she left him. Consequently, the demigods known as the Maruts maintained the child, and when Maharaj Bharata was disappointed for want of a child, this child was given to him as his son. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so what says from this verse it is understood that those who are rejected from the higher planetary system are given a chance to take birth in the most exalted families on this planet Earth. And thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 9th canto, 20th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Dynasty of Pūru. Hello, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
So we'll now continue to read that 21st, which is the Dynasty of Bharat Maharaj. Ajay?
Shri Shuk Uwach with Dhasya Sutan Manyu Brihat Jayastataha Mahaviryo Naro Garga Sangrit Kritistu Naratmajaha. Sukdev Goswami said, because Bharadwaj was delivered by Marut demigods, he was known as Vitatha. The son of Vitatha was Manyu, and from Manyu came 5 sons: Bhrakshatya, Jaya, Mahavirya, Nara, and Garg. Of these 5, the one known as Nara had a son named Sankriti. Hare Krishna.
Anilji?
Guruscha Rantidevascha Sankruteha Pandunandana Rantidevasya Mahima Iha Mutra cha Giyate. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of Pandu, Sanskriti had 2 sons named Guru and Rantidev. Rantidev is famous in both this world and the next, for he is glorified not only in human society, but also in the society of the demigods. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rinaji?
द्वितस्य ददतो लब्धं बुभक्षतः निष्किञ्चनस्य धीरस्य सकुटुम्बस्य सीदतः व्यतियुरष्टचत्वारिंश दहान्या पिबतः किल धृतपायसन्यावहं तोयं प्रातरुपस्थितं कृच्छ्रप्राप्तकुटुम्बस्य श्रीतृङ्भ्यां जातवेपथोः अतिथिर्ब्राह्मणः काले भोक्तुः कामस्य चागमत्. Rantidev never endeavored to earn anything. He would enjoy whatever he got by the arrangement of providence, but when guests came, he would give them everything. Thus, he underwent considerable suffering along with the members of his family. Indeed, he and his family members shivered for want of food and water. Yet Rantidev always remained sober. Once, after fasting for 48 days, in the morning Rantidev received some water and some foodstuffs made with milk and ghee. But when he and his family were about to eat, a Brahman guest arrived. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Tarun?
Tasmai samvatya bhajat so nam adritya swadhayan vitaha harim sarvatra sampasyan sa bhuktva payasu dvijha. Because Ratnadeva perceived the presence of the Supreme Godhead everywhere and in every living entity, he received the guest with faith and respect and gave him a share of the food. The Brahmana guest ate his share and then went away. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Rantidev truly believed in the presence of Supreme Godhead everywhere. He's Harim Sarvatra Sampasya. So that's how Rantidev was. Nice purport. So let's read this. Ajay?
Rantideva perceived the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living being, but he never thought that because of the Supreme Lord is present in every living being Every living being must be God. Nor did he distinguish between one living being and another. He perceived the presence of the Lord both in the Brahman and in the Chandal. This is the true vision of equality as confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 5.18. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chasiva Siva Pake Cha Pandita Samdarshina. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahman as a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater outcast. A Pandita or learned person perceives the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living being. Hare Krishna.
Anilji?
Therefore, although it has now become fashionable to give preference to the so-called Daridra Narayan or poor Narayan, Rantidev had no reason to give preference to any one person. The idea that because Narayan is present in the heart of one who is Daridra or poor, the poor man should be called Daridra Narayan. He is a wrong conception. By such logic, because the Lord is present within the hearts of the dogs and hawks, the dogs and hawks would also be Narayan. One should not mistakenly think that Rantidev subscribed to this view. Rather, he saw everyone as part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari Sambandhi Bastuna. It is not that everyone is the Supreme Godhead. Such a theory, which is propounded by the Mayavada philosophy, is always misleading. The Rantidev would never have accepted it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? Basically, what is mentioned here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in everyone, right? Is in everyone's heart. But that doesn't mean everyone is a Supreme Lord, right? The Supreme Lord is one, even though he is in everyone's heart. Yeah. Rinaji?
अन्यो भोक्ष्यमाणस्य विभक्तस्य महीपतेः विभक्तं व्यभजत तस्मै वृषलाय हरिं स्मरन्. Thereafter, having divided the remaining food with his relatives, Rantidev was just about to eat his own share when a Shudra guest arrived. Seeing the Shudra in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, King Rantidev gave him also a share of the food. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tarun?
Because King Ratnideva saw everyone as part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he never distinguished between the Brahmana and the Sudra, the poor and the rich. Such equal vision is called Samadarshina, Pandita Samadarshina. One who has actually realized that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart and that every living being is part of the Lord does not make any distinction between the Brahmana and the Shudra, the poor, Daridra, and the rich, Dhani. Such a person sees all living beings equally and treats them equally without discrimination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, that's the definition of Samdarshana. And Pandita is Samdarshana. The people who are truly intelligent and knowledgeable, right? Pandita who are always have Samdarshana. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Rashiksham Prabhuji,
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, हरे कृष्णा.
पढ़ेंगे?
हाँ. याते शूद्रे तमनयो गादिदितिः स्वभिरावृतः राजन्मे दीयतामन्नं सगणाय बुभुक्षते. When the Shudra went away, another guest arrived, surrounded by the dogs, and said, O king, I and my company of dogs are very hungry. Please give us something to eat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Se aditra vashishtam yadma bahumana puruskritam taccha dattvanamaschakre Swabhaya Swapatiye Vibhu. With great respect, King Rantidev offered the balance of the food to the dogs and the master of the dogs who had come as guests. The king offered them all respects and obeisances. Ajay? Ajay?
Sorry. पानीय मात्र मुच्छेषम तच्चै कपरितरणम कपरितपर्णम पाश्यतः पुलको सभाग्यदपो देहा शुभाय me. Therefore only the drinking water remained, and there was only enough to satisfy one person. But when the king was just about to drink it, a Chandal appeared and said, O king, although I am low-born, kindly give me some drinking water. Hare Krishna.
तस्य तां करुणां वाचं निशम्य विपुलश्रमां कृपया प्रशस्तन्तपत् idamaham vachah. Aggrieved at hearing the pitiable words of the poor fatigued Chandal, Maharaj Rantidev spoke the following nectarian words. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, he says that Maharaj Rantidev's words were like Amrit or nectar. And therefore, aside from rendering bodily service to an aggrieved person, by his words alone, the king could save the life of anyone who might hear him. न कामये अहम गतिम ईश्वरात् परा मास्टर्दियुक्तां पुनर्भवं वा आर्तिं प्रपदे अखिल देह भाजा मनः स्थितो येन भवन्त्य दुःखा. I do not pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the 8 perfections of mystic yoga, nor for salvation from repeated birth and death. I want only to stay among all the living entities and suffer all distresses on their behalf so that they may be freed from suffering. This is what the greatness of Ranti Devi is described. Right? Tarun? Tarun?
Vasudeva Datta made a similar statement to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, requesting the Lord to liberate all living entities in his presence. Vasudeva Datta submitted that if they were unfit to be liberated, he himself would take all their sinful reactions and suffer personally so that the Lord might deliver them. A Vaishnava is therefore described as being para dukkha dukhi, very much aggrieved by the sufferings of others. As such, a Vaishnava engages in activities for the real welfare of human society. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ajay?
Shudrit Shramo Gatra Paribhramascha Dainyam Klamaha Shok Vishad Moha Sarve Nivitta Kripanasya Janto Jirjivisho Jiva Jallar Prananami. By offering my water to maintain the life of this poor Chandal who is struggling to live, I have been freed from all hunger, thirst, fatigue, trembling of the body, moronness, distress, lamentation, and illusion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what Maharaj Rantidev is saying is, even though he was thirsty, he gave everything, right? Whoever wanted whatever. And he's saying, Sarve nirvataha kripanasya jantu. And by doing this, he is feeling like he's freed from all the hunger and thirst. Yeah. Anilji?
Iti prabhasya paniyam mriyamana pipasaya pulkasaya dadadhiro nisarga karno nrapaha. Having spoken thus, King Rantidev, although on the verge of death because of thirst, gave his own portion of water to the Chandal without hesitation, for the king was naturally very kind and sober. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tarun?
Tasya Tribhuvanadhisha Faldah Falmichatamaha Atmanam Tasyaya Chakrumarya Vishnu Vinimitraha. Demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, who can satisfy all materially ambitious men by giving them the rewards they desire, then manifested their own identities before King Rantideva, for it was they who had presented themselves as the Brahmana, Shudra, Chandala, and so on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So as we see, the Lord himself takes the pariksha, the exam of such strong people, right? So King Rantidev, all these were done by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva himself. Rasikshan Prabhuji?
तवेतेभ्यो नमस्कृत्य निसंगो विगतस्पृहा वासुदेवे भगवती भक्त्या चक्रे मनः परम. King Rantidev had no ambition to enjoy material benefits from the demigods. He offered them obeisance, but because he was factually attached to the Lord Vishnu, Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he fixed his mind at Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So King Rantidev fixed his mind at Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Yeah. It's mentioned Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhaktya Chakre Manah Param. Yeah. Fixed his mind totally on the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Also says here that one should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Yeah. Ishvara alambanam chittam kurvato ananya radhase maya gunmai rajanasva pravata pratyaliyate. O Maharaj Parikshit, because King Rantidev was a pure devotee, always Krishna conscious, and free from all material desires, the Lord's illusory energy Maya could not exhibit herself before him. On the contrary, for him, Maya entirely vanished, exactly like a dream. Ajay?
Do I need to read the shlok as well? Or?
Yeah, from here.
It's scrolled up, I can't see.
Oh, can you see now?
A little bit more down.
This you start from here.
Okay, yeah. As it is said, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya अंधकारो यहाँ कृष्णा तहाँ नहीं मायारो अधिकारो. Just as there is no chance that darkness can exist in the sunshine, in a pure Krishna conscious person there can be no existence of Maya. The Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Devi Hesa Gunamayi Mom Maya दुरत्याया मम एवा ये प्रपद्यते मयम एतम तरन्तिते. The divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. If one wants to be free from the influence of Maya, the illusory energy, one must become Krishna conscious and always keep Krishna prominent within the care of his within the core of his heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Because Lord Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that Mam ev ye prapadyante, like people who have surrendered unto me, Mayam itam taranti te, they can cross over the Maya. Mam Maya Duratya. It's very difficult, but people who have surrendered unto me can cross the ocean of Maya. Yeah. Anilji?
In Bhagavad Gita 9.34, the Lord advises that one always think of him, man, mano, maya, mayam itam tarantite, because Rantideva was, in Bhagavad Gita 9.34, the Lord advises that one always think of him, mana mana, bhava, mad bhakto, mad yaji, mam namaskaru. In this way, by always being Krishna minded or Krishna conscious, one can surpass the influence of Maya. Mayam etam tarantite. Because Rantidev was Krishna conscious, he was not under the influence of the illusory energy. The word Swapnavat is significant in this connection because in the material world, the mind is absorbed in the materialistic activities. When one is asleep, many contradictory activities appear in one's dreams. When one awakens, however, these activities automatically merge into the mind. Similarly, as long as one is under the influence of the material energy, he makes many plans and schemes, but when one is Krishna conscious, such dreamlike plans automatically disappear. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That's the significance of being Krishna conscious. Tarun?
tat prasangana bhavena rantideva nuvartina abhavanam yoginam sarve narayana parayanaha. All those who followed the principles of King Ratni Deva were totally favored by his mercy and became pure devotees attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Thus they all became the best of yogis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shiksha Prabhuji? आप म्यूट पे हैं.
The best yogis or mystics are the devotees, as confirmed by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatantaratmanaha siddhanteva bahu bhajante yo mam sa me yuktamo mataha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. The best yogi is who constantly think of Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of the heart. Because Rantidev was the king, the chief executive in the state, all the residents of the state become devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, by the king transcendental association. This is the influence of pure devotees. If there is one pure devotee, his association can create hundreds and thousands of pure devotees. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur had said that a Vaishnava is meritorious in proportion to the number of devotees he has created. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ajay?
A Vaishnava becomes superior not simply by jugglery of words, but the number of devotees he has created for the Lord. Here the word Ranti Devanaruvatina indicates that Ratnadev's officers, friends, relatives, and subjects all became first-class Vaishnavas by his association. In other words, Rantidev is confirmed herein to be a first-class devotee or Bhagavat. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimukte. One should render service to such Mahatmas. For them, one will automatically achieve the goal of liberation. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has also said, Chhadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistara Paishe Kiba. One cannot be liberated by his own effort, but if one becomes subordinate to pure Vaishnava, the door to liberation is open. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is mentioned here is one should render service to such Mahatmas. The Mahatmas who have dedicated their life in becoming Vaishnavas, in becoming Krishna conscious, right? We should always get an opportunity where we can render service to such Mahatmas, and they will automatically help us in achieving also the goal of liberation, is what is mentioned. Shiksha Prabhu?
गर्गाछि निष्ठतो गर्गयः छत्राद ब्रह्म हवर्तत दुरितलक्षयो महावीर्या तस्य त्रयारुणिः कविः पुष्करारुणीत्यत्रः ये ब्राह्मण गतिं गताः बृहच्छत्रस्य पुत्रो भद्रस्ति यद्दास्तिनापुरम्. From Ganga came a son named Sini, and his son was Gargaya. Although Gargaya was a Kshatriya, there come from him a generation of Brahmanas. From Mahavirya came a son named Dhruti Kasya, whose son was Traya Runi, Kavi, and Puskara Runi. Although these sons of Dhruti Kasya took birth in the dynasty of Kshatriya, they too attained the portion of Brahmanas. Bharat had a son named Hasti, who established the city of Hastinapur, now in Delhi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Hasti, that was the name of Hastinapur. Yeah, came from Hasti, who was the son of Satra, and then as we can see, that was in the dynasty of Maharaj Pūru. Yeah, Anilji?
Ajmeedho dhvamidvashtascha purmeedhascha hastinaha ajmeedhasya vanshya syuha priyameta dayo dujah. From King Hasti came three sons named Ajmidha, Dvimidha, and Purmidha. The descendants of Ajmidha, headed by Priyamedha, all achieved the position of Brahmanas. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Ajamidad Brahadisus tasya putro Brahmadhanuah Bhatrakrasyas tatas tasya putra asit Jayadratha. From Ajamida came a son named Brahadishu. From Brahadishu came a son named Brahadhanu. From Brahadhanu a son named Brahatkaya, and from Brahatkaya a son named Jayadratha. Jayadratha. Hare Krishna.
Tatsuto Visattasya Shayanajit Samjayate Ruchirasho Dridhanu Kasho Vatasya Tatsuta. The son of Jayadrat was Vishad, and his son was Shenjit, the son of Shenjit were Ruchirsva, Nirdhanu, Kasha, and Vatsa. Ajay?
रुचिराश्वसुतः पारः पृथुसेन जस्तामजः पारस्य तनयो नीपस्तस्य पुत्रशतं तभूत्. The son of Ruchirsiva was Para, and the son of Para was Prithusen and Nipa. Nipa had 100 sons. Hare Krishna.
Anil?
Sakratvayam Shukakanyayam Brahmadattam Jijanat Yogi Sakavi Bharyayam Vishwaksena Madhat Sutam. King Nipa begot a son named Brahmadatta through the womb of his wife, Kritvi, who was the daughter of Shuka, and Brahmadatta, who was a great yogi, begot a son named Vishwaksena through the womb of his wife, Saraswati. Hare Krishna.
The Sukha mentioned here is different from the Sukdev Goswami who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, is described in great detail in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. There it is said that Vyasadeva maintained the daughter of Jabali as his wife, and that after they performed penances together for many years, he placed his seed in her womb. The child remained in the womb of his mother for 12 years, and when the father asked the son to come out, the son replied that he would not come out unless he were completely liberated from the influence of Maya. Vyasadeva then assured the child that he would not be influenced by Maya, but the child did not believe his father, for the father was still attached to his wife and children. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Siksham Prabhu?
Vyasadeva then went to Dwarka and informed the personality of Godhead about his problem, and the personality of Godhead at Vyasadeva's request went to Vyasadeva's cottage, where he assured the child in the womb that he would not be influenced by Maya. Thus assured, the child came out, but he immediately went away as a Parivarajkacharya. When the father, very much aggrieved, began to follow his saintly boy, Sukdev Goswami, the boy created a duplicate Sukdev, who later entered family life. Therefore, the Sukanya, or daughter of Sukdev, mentioned in the verse, is the daughter of duplicate or imitation Sukdev. The original Sukdev was a lifelong brahmachari. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So a brief story about Sukdev Goswami is mentioned. Like how brahmachari Sukdev Goswami was. He didn't even come out of the womb unless the Supreme Lord assured him that Maya will not influence him. That's how Sukdev Goswami was, and that's what we are reading. The Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken by Sukdev Goswami. Hello, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Yeah.
So we'll pause here, and for 7 to 8 minutes, we are going to hear a beautiful Hare Krishna Kirtan, and by none other than we have Siksham Prabhuji's Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Radhanath Swami Maharaj, just before a couple of days, he led this Kirtan in MIT campus. Yeah, so that's in MIT, just before a couple of days. We are going to hear for 7 to 8 minutes. Yeah.
Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Nama Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vastatite Satarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hello, Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Yeah, so Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he gave a lecture at MIT and then they lead a kirtan. I think before a few years when Modi ji had come to White House, I think 3-4 years before, I think the Radhanath Swami Maharaj was also there on the dinner table at White House. And he's the one who established the temple at Chopati, right? Chopati Jew. So nice to hear his kirtan, and everyone have a nice long weekend now. And then we'll see you back on Monday. Yeah. And the Siksham Prabhuji or Tuesday morning, but Monday evening 9:30 p.m. Yeah. So
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.